Key skill 3. In key skill 3, I'm going to show you my super neat method for expanding brackets without making a mess. So the old-fashioned way that until binomial expansion came to your life would to be do x plus y, would be to write it all out like this and start drawing these lines and adding it all together, and it all gets really, really messy. Now, if you want to follow my method for using binomial expansion, you'll be able to do this really quickly. So what you do is you start with the n. In this case, this is the 3. So we're going to start here on 3. So you can put your 3, all your coefficients from Pascal's triangle, or 3 choose 0. Then the next one would be 3 choose 1, 3 choose 2, and 3 choose 3. You could also write these the other way around because they're symmetric. Okay, so that all comes from the 3. You start on 0, then you go to 1, then 2, then 3. Now you go to this one. Depending on if it says ascending or descending powers of x, you'll say, for example, start 1. These are all times in between them. So you would start 1 on the highest power. So we'd start 1 on 3. Then we go down to 2. Then we go down to 1. Then we go down to 0. So we would be doing the first one, decreasing the power each time. I usually like to do the number decreasing and the x increasing. It doesn't really matter if the x is on the left or the right. So what I mean by that is that I would then start the x, which I'm getting from here. I would start the x on 0, then go to 1, then go to 2, then go to 3. You need to read the question if they want. This would be ascending powers of x, so going from 0 up to 3. If they wanted descending powers of x, I would have started x on 3 and 1 on 0 and gone the other way around. So you need to check your question. Now, I know these are already off by heart, but 3 choose 0, we said anything choose 0 is always 1. Any power of 1 is 1, and x power of 0 is 1. So the first one in our expansion, the first term in our expansion is 1. 3 choose 1, again, n choose 1, guys, is always going to be n, because you're going to have n factorial divided by 1 factorial, n minus 1 factorial. So if we open that up one more time, that's going to cancel out, and that's going to leave you with n. And if you look at your Pascal's triangle, you can see that, for example, 2 choose 1 is 2, 3 choose 1 is 3, 4 choose 1 is 4, 5 choose 1 is 5, 6 choose 1 is 6. So that's another shortcut. So 3 choose 1 is going to be 3 times, again, 1 times x. So we're going to have 3x. Then we're going to have, if you think about that cell mirror line, that will be the same as that, and that will be the same as that. But again, you could just, if you didn't remember that, you could just type in 3 choose 2. Okay, so that's 3. 1 power 1 is 1, x squared. So the next one is 3x squared, and 3 choose 3 is 1. Again, you can, if you forget these little rules with the choosing, you can say 3 choose 3. So we can have 1x cubed. So if we write this out, we can say 1 plus x cubed is equal to 1 plus 3x squared plus 1x cubed. Let's have a look at another example like this. Okay, now we've got power 4. We'd start with 4, so we'd have 4 choose 0, 4 choose 1, 4 choose 2, 4 choose 3, and 4 choose 4. So that's all coming from this 4 here. Then we'd have the number next. I usually have my number starting on the 4 and going backwards. So I go backwards on my number, and I'd go 4 to 3 to 2 to 1 to 0. Now on my x, I would start on 0 and go up. But again, you got to read the question if it's ascending or descending. When your answer is written like this, from x to x squared to x cubed, that's ascending powers of x. The powers of x are going up, okay? And that's because I started on 0 and I went up. If the question asks for descending, you're going to want to have it the other way around. You're going to want to have it this one starting on 3 and this one starting on 0. And then this one's going to want to go down and this one's going to want to go up. Now, it's important in this case to have a bracket, okay? So this would be 3x power 1, 3x power 2, 3x power 3, and 3x power 4. And the reason why you have a bracket is because everything needs to be power 2 here. So this isn't just 3x squared, it's going to be 9x squared because it's going to be 3 power 2 and x power 2. That goes back to your rules for indices. If you need to refresh that, that's your first course in AS Maths. So 1, 2 to the 4, it's going to be 16. Anything power 0 is going to be 1. So that's going to end up being 16. Now here, 4 choose 1 is going to be 4. 2 power 3 is going to be 8 times 3x. So 4 times 8 times 3. So you're going to have 96x. Here, 4 choose 2. 4 choose 2 times 2 squared times 3 squared. So this would be 216x squared. And I usually do just type it in the calculator like that. This is going to be sufficiently laid out with all your working shown for all your method marks. So the next one I'd have 4 choose 3 times 2 power 1. You don't really need to type in the 1, but, and then the 3 would be cubed. So 216x cubed. And the last one, 4 choose 4 times 2 power 0 times 3 power 4. So that would be 81x4. So then you want to write your final answer below. 2 plus 3x power 4 is equal to 16 plus 96x plus 216x squared plus 216x cubed plus 81x power 4. Okay, now we're going to have a similar question. We're going to have a minus in the mix. So in this case here, the n is going to be 2. So I'm going to start with having 2 choose 0. Don't forget, you always need to start on 0. 2 choose 1 and 2 choose 2. And then we're going to have the 1 going down from 2 to 0. And you're going to have we'll have the minus 3x going up, so from 0, so ascending powers of x. One way you can always check if you've done it right is your powers should add up to the n. So in this case, n is 2, so 2 add 0 is 2, 1 add 1 is 2, 0 add 2 is 2. So we already discussed how this should be 1 and this should be 1 also, right? Anything choose 0 is 1. 1 squared. Now, in this case here, minus 3x power 0 is just 1. So we've got 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. Now here, 2 choose 1 should be 2. 1. We've got minus 3x. Now, this is a good trick or a good tip. Any negative number to an odd power, so odd numbers 1, 3, 5, will always be negative. So, for example, negative number, if the power is odd, your answer should be negative. If the power is an even number, your answer will be a positive number. Okay? So that would be times minus 3x. So that would be in the end minus 6x. 1 times 1. Now minus 3 times minus 3 would be plus 9. So it would be 9x squared. So your final answer here would be 1 minus 3x squared would be 1 minus 6x plus 9x squared. So minuses, be careful of them. So two important things in the last two examples. One thing is the power's on the outside, the number needs to get the power as well, okay? So the 3 is squared, not just the x. The 3 is cubed, not just the x. And the second important thing is to be careful of the minuses, okay? A negative number with an odd power will be negative, and a negative number with an even power, like 2, for example, will be positive. So be careful, like watch out of those. Now, here we've got powers inside the expansion. So all of these questions have been designed to show you different scenarios that you might be asked. So we're going to start on 4, going up from 0 until we get to 4. 4 choose 3, 4 choose 4. Now, I'm going to choose here to, for example, I'm going to put my number first. I just like to have my numbers together. I'm going to go from 4 down. So you don't have to write it in the same order as the question, okay? Now, I'm going to talk about my x's now. So we have 3x squared power 0 times 3x squared power 1. And you can see that these guys on the outside are adding up to, this one's adding up to 4, this one 2, this one 2. So 3x squared power, so where are we? We're at 3. So we're going to be a little bit careful here. This is going to be 1 times plus 16, because remember we've got a negative number and an even power. And here we've got a power 0, so that would be times 1. So 1 times 16 times 1 will be 16. 4 choose 4 should be 4. This needs to be minus 8. We've got an odd power here. And this is 3 power 1, x power 2. So to get the answer here, you need to do 4 times minus 8 times 3. So this would be minus 96x squared. Here we go. And again, in the interest of speed, I'd probably be typing it like this in the exam. 4 choose 2 times by minus 2 squared. Now remember, if you type in minus 2 squared, you'll get the wrong answer. Times by 3 squared. So here you'd get 216x power 4. And it's power 4 because 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. And 3 got squared 2, right? Your calculator, with minus 2 squared, your calculator understands minus 2 times minus 2, which gives you 4. If you write minus 2 squared, what your calculator basically understands is do 2 squared and times that by minus 1. So if you do minus 2 squared, you'll get minus 4 because it understands you would do the power first and then the minus second. So be careful putting negative numbers inside brackets. Let's finish this off. 4 choose 3 times minus 2. Now this would be 3 cubed. Wait. So this would be minus 216 x power 6. This would be 1 times 3 power 4. 3 power 4 is 81. X would be power 8. So we would have 16 minus 96x squared plus 216x power 4 minus 216x power 6 plus 81x power 8. So you guys got to think that if you've got a power inside, you need to multiply these guys. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. Okay. This is the last one. Stick with me. I know this has been a little bit long. Okay, set it up for 3. So 3 choose 0. 3 choose 1. 3 choose 2. And 3 choose 3. Now the hard thing about this is we've got powers inside the bracket and they're different ones. So you can think about this one like this. This is x squared, okay? Now say we start with this one going from 0 up to 3. Now this you can think of like a third x power minus 1, because the 3 is on the bottom. And in this case, if we've gone from 0 up to 3 on the x squared, we need to go from 3 down to 0 the other way. Okay. Now let's work this out. So 3 choose 0 has to be 1. This would be x power 0. Now a third cubed, you can type it in like this. Well, you can think 3 cubed is 27, so it'll be 1 over 27 x power minus 3. Because when you multiply the minus 1 and 3, you get minus 3. So here you get 1 times 1. This gives you 1 over 27, and this gives you x power minus 3. So the first one we're going to have is 1 over 27, x power minus 3. Let's keep going. 3 choose 1 is 3. This would be x squared times by 1 over 3 squared would be 1 over 9. And this would be x power minus 2. So this is why this example is tricky, because you've got to cancel down the fraction. So a 3 here and a 9 there would cancel down to 1 over 3. And x2 times x power minus 2 would be x power 0. You want to add those powers together. The rule is like this. If you do something like 2, 3 times 2, 5, you need to add them. 3 plus 5 is 8. Probably would be a really good idea if you're getting confused with all these rules for indices, if you go back and rewatch the very first set of videos. So we would then have this would cancel down here. So this would cancel down for 3, and this would be 1. So yeah, 1 over 3. Let's keep going. This would be 3. This would be x power 4. You multiply with the brackets, and this would be times by a third x power minus 1. So we've got to cancel it down. 3 times a third is going to be 1. X to the 4 times by x to the minus 1 would be x to the 3. Because 4 times x to the minus 1, you would do 4 take away 1, which would be x cubed. Okay, last one. 3 choose 3 is 1. This would be x power 6. And this power 0 would be 1. So we would need to add on here plus x power 6. So this would be our final answer. Congratulations, you've now finished key skill 3. Now, the most important thing is you always follow that format that I've showed you. So you write it down on the page exactly like I wrote it down with the columns. So for example, first of all, you have the n choose starting on 0 going up. Then you have one of the two things in the brackets starting on 0 and increasing. And the other, so for example, if here you have that one and here you have this one, and this one starts on n and goes backwards. So this one's going backwards to 0, this one's going forwards from 0 to whatever your n is. And after that, the devil is in the details. Just be careful of the minuses. Just be careful of powering both things inside the bracket by the power, not just the x. And if you can do that, you're going to be really successful in this question. This, what we've done in Key Skill 4, is the most commonly asked exam question on binomial expansion. It's the heart of this question. So give yourself a good pat on the back. You've done most of the hard work. In the following key skills, I'm going to show you some can be tricky follow-on parts or some more advanced questions, but you've definitely done the lion's share of the work already. Go have a break, have a Kit Kat, and I'll see you in the next key skill.